Hello, my name is Anna, and today I'm going to show you how you can make this adorable, very hungry caterpillar costume. This would be great for Halloween or for favorite character dress-up day at school. The DIY is easy, and I've broken it down into simple steps for you. Make sure you check out the link in the description below for the free pattern and written details. And do yourself a favor and push the subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming videos. You'll need the following supplies. Head on over to funsockcity.com for all your sock needs, including the ones you'll need for this project. Begin with 2 t-shirts of the same size, and preferably the same brand, because then the sizing will be exactly the same. And to begin with, you're going to cut it across here. On this first shirt, make sure you leave about 1 inch below each armpit, and then again about halfway between that next cut. And you'll do the same thing on this second shirt. But on this second shirt, you can cut across right below the armpits, and then again do halfway down on the shirt. Before you start sewing, try it on your child just by pinning pieces together, just to make sure you have it the right length. When I tried it onto my daughter, I realized I did not need all the shirt strips, and so I'll be ending with this lighter color green. And make sure you save the finished hem in whichever color you're ending with for the bottom, so that way it has a nice finished look and you don't even have to worry about that. Then find your top piece and lay that out, and grab one of the pieces of the other color. And all you're gonna do is flip this one wrong side out and then slide it onto this upper piece so that the right sides are facing each other. Then match these raw edges together and pin those into place. And do that all along where the raw edges meet. My shirt does not have seams on the side, so it really doesn't matter where I'm matching them up, but if yours does, make sure those side seams match up. Then go ahead and sew using a 1/2 inch inseam all around where these raw edges meet. I'll be doing that on my sewing machine, but you can also sew it by hand. Once you've sewn that, go ahead and unpin it, turn it right side out, and you have your first layer done. Go ahead and repeat that process with all your layers, remembering that if you have seams, you need to line them up, but if you don't, then it makes it a lot easier. Don't forget to use the finished edge on your last layer. Make sure you match up the raw edge to raw edge, that way that finished edge is on the bottom. And that's it. Now we can move on to attaching the feet. Take each of your socks and cut them off about 1 inch above where that heel line starts. Go ahead and set these tops aside for right now, but save them for when you're doing the antennae of the caterpillar. Stuff each foot of the sock. I was initially planning on stuffing the whole thing, but that was just way too big. So I have removed some, and I'm going to do about this size. So go ahead and stuff them all to your desired fullness. I want mine to kind of stick out to the side rather than straight out. So I'm going to pull this part down right here, and then grab some of this right here and pinch it in that loose part that I just pulled down, and then sew this, just tack it together, just like that. So then when it gets attached to the shirt that's running this way, the feet will stick out that way. Make sure you insert through the layer that you pulled and through the layer that you brought down that was loose. I'm actually pulling more of that loose part down. So we just want to pull it so it's nice and attached right here. And cut the excess string, and then also cut above where you sewed across there. Make sure you don't get any of your seams. And do that with the rest of them. Now what you're going to want to do is try your shirt on your child and find the center point, and you can see mine marked by my pins, and then also decide where you want to put your feet. And I'm going to put mine as shown in this picture. Now I have my shirt here, and I'm actually going to glue my feet on. Before I actually glued it onto the real costume, I did a test run to see how strong it was, and I am actually pulling really hard and it's not coming apart. All you see is the fabric stretching, so it is gonna stay. So hot glue is definitely a good option. The only reason you wouldn't want to do hot glue is if you want to be able to wash and dry this, because the way I removed this off of here is with a blow dryer, because that loosens up the stickiness and lets me take it off. And a dryer would act in that same way. It would loosen everything up and probably make a big mess in your dryer. So if you want to be able to wash it, don't do that. Just sew all along on the perimeter of where that glue would be. To do that, if you're going to be gluing it, put just a couple pieces of scratch paper behind each spot where I'll be gluing. I'm gonna actually tear it in half because I don't want that glue to go leak back to the other side. You could use cardboard that you're gonna recycle. Just use anything you want to create a barrier. You wanna use quite a bit of glue, and I'm going about 3/4 out on the foot. Then place it in that spot where you decided you wanted it. And then I'll do the same thing with my other foot. And while that's cooling, do the same thing on the next spot. To make the antennae, start with one of the tops of your socks, turn it wrong side out, and up at that top portion where it has the finished edge, you're gonna just go in and out and lock your thread into place right here by going between the threads that are trailing behind. And then you're just gonna go across one side, then come to one of these sides that runs perpendicular to the way you just went, and go in on one side and across to the other, pulling it to the center, creating kind of like a 4-leaf clover look. Go right next to that and go to the opposite side, and then do the same thing on that side next to it, and then just keep doing it with any places that you see are loose. Do it until you feel like you have it closed up sufficiently. And then turn it right side out. You should have a nicely closed top. And then go ahead and stuff that. And you want to make it more tall than wide. And then you're going to close it up in the same way that you closed that top part. Put your hat on your child and figure out where you're going to place your eyes. I'll be placing mine as shown in the picture. And then after you figure that out, then you can pin this one that you just finished onto the hat. And you can see I still have that string still attached in the picture that I hadn't cut off yet, because I'm just going to sew it on with that same string. But then you want to pin it on as shown. Then you'll just place the other antenna symmetrically on the other side. So now I have it pinned into place as I showed you in that picture. And I'm going to remove one pin. And all I do is I grab the sock and then the hat. The sock and then the hat. And you're going to go all around the bottom of this antenna. And I like to remove the pins once I get to them, so then I don't have to worry about avoiding them. And once you go all the way around, just knot it off as discreetly as possible. And then I like to push it right back in, right where that knot is, pull tight, and cut off right next to the sock. And then you have that one done. So go ahead and repeat the same process on the other sock, but then when you place it on here, you'll just place it symmetrical with this one. Get your glue gun plugged in so that it's ready to go when you are. And then trace out the large outer eye onto yellow felt. And I like to just trace one circle and then fold it in half so I get 2 circles without having to cut twice. And then do the same thing with the small inner eye, but this time on the green felt. Begin by gluing the green felt onto the yellow felt. And you don't need a lot of glue because felt sticks really well to felt. And if you remember the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, things are not perfect in how they look. So the eyes are sometimes a little bit wonky, which that's what I love about the artwork. It doesn't have to be perfect. Once you have those glued, then you're gonna just glue those into place, right where you decided you wanted them earlier. And make sure you stick your hand behind or between the surface you're gluing on and then the next surface, just to make sure the glue doesn't go through there. If you live in a warm climate, just throw some shorts underneath it and call it good. Or if you're in a cold climate like we are, I put a long sleeve, neutral colored shirt and long leggings underneath so that my daughter will stay warm when she's out trick-or-treating. As long as they're neutral or go with the costume somehow, I think it'll look great. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.